Well, I'll tell you from personal experience. As I said, I have a son. He is now in middle school. He's in sixth grade,
Oh,
um, and really the most type of GCE education he's had is towards the environment. I know that I've mostly spoken about cultures and traditions, different people, different nationalities, but here in Portland, Oregon, at least, he's had a lot of education about the environment. But from a cultural standpoint, high school, they learn a lot more about other countries and cultures. Um, but here they focus a lot on indigenous peoples. So, who were the Native Americans that lived here before we did? And how did they appreciate nature? How did they eat? How did they live? He's had a lot of education about indigenous cultures, which is amazing, more than I ever had. So, again, he's very respectful and very appreciative of that way of thinking about nature because he's learned it. I mean, that's what happens in every country, right? People are
yeah.
biased towards the cultures they don't know about. And that's exactly what we're talking about. That's exactly why this is important because the fear, right?
Yes.
The ignorance
Mm.
leads to fear, which leads to hatred, right? And so we're stopping that domino effect. So it's actually not hard to include GCE as an English teacher because it doesn't matter what you're teaching. You can choose the material yourself. You can teach any age, any level, information about other countries and other cultures, you know? So, for example, include fun little reading passages for reading comprehension skills or grammar or vocabulary practice. So, learn how the Ecuadorians celebrate Christmas, for example, or learn how Indonesians celebrate Ramadan. So, it's not just other physical places, but it works in religions as well. Not advocating that one is right or one is wrong, but simply acknowledging that all of these varieties exist in the world and it's okay, right? So just include as much different information as you can to communicate this to your students. Again, you could put them anywhere. If you want to teach food vocabulary, let's look at a menu from an Italian restaurant, for example. Don't teach them stuff that they already know. So you can really find a way to teach about the international fabric in any lesson. It can be challenging, I suppose, because I'm asking you to create some of your own materials. But you can find these materials already created as well. Just make sure that you are using textbooks that have a priority of utilizing GCE education. So, like I said in the previous answer, you could create very short texts or find short texts that describe other cultures and other countries. Maybe take something familiar. Your students know that everybody goes to school, right? But show them this in an unfamiliar way. So, for example, there are students who go to school on boats in Cambodia. I've seen it because I lived there for a while. Like, what is that
Oh,
like? That's crazy. That would be really fun. And all you have to do is look at the short text, pre-teach any new vocabulary before they read it, so they're ready to comprehend and understand. You could take whatever the latest grammar point it is and write a similar text, right? Something short about the world, like subject verb agreement, for example. And you could ask students to circle the subject and the verb in each sentence, recreate their own sentences about their own lives, again, focusing on subject verb agreement. So if the students go to school on a boat, I go to school on a mountain, whatever is true. For them personally. And especially for beginning learners, use a lot of pictures. Pictures to teach vocabulary, to match to sentences, for example. But again, make sure that it is about life that is different than theirs.